Asian Americans asking, in the past week, I lost a father figure in everything but genetics. Due to the Shanghai lockdowns, no one was permitted entry into the city. Armin, how did you cope with losing a loved one thousands of kilometers away? Are there any rituals you still observed from your time as a Muslim?
Okay, well, I didn't. She came to Canada to die. My mom came to Canada. I couldn't go to Iran to see her. She wasn't supposed. When my mom got cancer, she wasn't supposed to leave the hospital. But she wanted to. She wanted to die next to her sons, her family. So she, even though she was told that she can't leave the hospital, she did leave the hospital, and she came to Canada, and she died right next to me. Um, Shortly after she left the hospital because she wasn't supposed to. Um, but she was happy. She was happy with the fact that she's dying next to her family, right? Like she didn't want to keep going, uh, to stay in Iran in the hospital for the just for the sake of increasing the time and then potentially dying without seeing me. So I didn't have to go through that. So, um, you know, so sorry that you did. I'm so sorry about that. Like, that's so horrible. When it comes to coping, I didn't. I mean, I think like, and I don't think. I think trying to cope means, to me at least, it seems like it means that resisting unhappiness. And I think the solution is to just let yourself be unhappy instead of fighting it. I think the solution is to just accept the sadness. Like people when that's what I know you might say like people mean something else, but I think like just to me it seems like a lot of people when they're trying to cope is that they're dealing with a whole bunch of misery and sadness, and it's so tough on them that they want to find ways not to experience it. And I think the actual solution is to know that this is going to be tough for a while and that you have to experience this and you have to go through the sadness and misery, and this is how it's supposed to be. You like, why would it be otherwise? You just lost somebody that you love. There is no coping, just go through the sadness, and when you accept that, you will go through it faster. I think trying not to experience the sadness makes it more difficult for you to express it, and then and the lack of expression of that sadness means that it will be like you will internalize it. I think the expression of it, by not trying to cope and expressing it, the expression of it will become a coping mechanism itself. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
something, I don't know if that makes any sense.
I think it does, but so Asian American saying apologies for the misunderstanding. No, like we're sorry for your loss. I accepted the unhappiness already. He taught me Chinese chess and how to write the letter E. I think when people refer to coping with grief, they don't mean uh, any trying. I think they mean like not letting it consume you, experiencing the sadness, but not letting it consume you,
What does that
and
mean?
um, drive you into a depression that you cannot get out of. Because most people go through a depression when these things happen, but to a level that you cannot get out of it. About some resilience to, even while you are fully accepting and allowing yourself to experience your grief to your fullest extent, having some internal mechanisms to lift yourself up to some degree, but not in a way that is trying to deny your felt
Uh,
experience of the pain.
hmm. Okay, so maybe knowing that this will end
Mm.
will help. Like reminding yourself that as horrible as this feels right now, it's not a permanent feeling, and it's a feeling that you have to go through. But maybe the fact that trusting that this is definitely not a permanent feeling, maybe that will help. So like, there's no way out of this. I'm going through this hell right now, but there's light on the other side. Like, it will, you don't know how long, because when you're in the middle of it, it seems like this is a permanent feeling and it's just going to be there forever. It really is. Sometimes it really feels like this is a forever feeling, and my life is miserable forever. Okay, but maybe that will help. No, like, based on everyone's experience, at certain point in time, you're not going to feel like this anymore, and this feeling of sadness as misery is going to pass. So knowing that might help. What about, is that a good advice?
Yeah, I think so. I think of something that Rivka would tell me. And I think this might come from a Jewish saying, I'm not sure. But it sounds corny, but I really think it's true. Like, may his memory be a blessing. Like, really think fondly about the good memories that you have with each other and write them down and honor them and cherish them. I think yeah, that can really, I don't know, help you just reflect on the joy that you brought to each other's lives, that you were able to in this short period of time that we're alive, and you got to be alive together. That's amazing.
Mm, true.
um
By the way, anything I said is just what applies to me. I wasn't suggesting at all. I'm not a mental health expert, so I'm just
Also
sharing
true.
what I experience and what I feel and what works for me. So I'm not prescribing anything to you or anyone else. Okay, I'm just sharing my thoughts.
Hmm. Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Callie, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.